Peace, guys. I hope everybody's doing good out there. I'm going to go through the watch list super quick today, and I'm going to start with a little bit of trading psychology for you. Okay? Never, 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 and I'm kind of saying this for myself too, never think you know what's going to happen in the markets. We can never be sure or assume anything. The markets are completely random. We're simply playing the probabilities here. We control what we can control, which is trading high quality setups, respecting our risk, and having a systematic way of taking profits. If we do this long enough, eventually we'll come out on top. Okay? But little trading psychology for you guys. And I'll hit it home with a quote here by Mark Douglas, Trading in the Zone author, which, by the way, is a phenomenal book for trading psychology with it. But Mark says, the degree to which you assume you know, or think you know, or in any way need to know what will happen next is equal to the degree you will fail as a trader. And that sounds pretty harsh, because we're not here to fail as traders. We're simply not here to give our money to the markets. It's not what we're here to do. So I'll read it again, okay, and let it hit home. The degree by which you think you know, assume you know, or in any way need to know what will happen next is equal to the degree you will fail as a trader. We don't need to know. We don't assume we know. We don't think we know. We're simply taking the hand that we have, we're playing the probability, and we're respecting our risk. That's all we're doing here. Getting into the charts, when we look at SPY, broad market, solid move off 620, a gap up and a little bit of follow through today. We look solid. We look good to move to all-time highs. With that being said, we'd love to see this thing kind of retrace, kind of fill this white space between current day's candle and the green EMA. That's what we'd like to see. Not sure if we're going to get that, but just keep in mind that that's the ideal situation to give us good risk reward going forward. QQQ put in a higher high today. That's a good sign. We touched all-time highs in the technology sector today. Would like to see the same type of contraction back here, a little pullback, maybe retrace to this white candle right here. Don't know if we'll get it, but just kind of, be wary that we're in all-time highs here. We're in a space that we haven't traded before. And we could use a little pullback. It would be healthy. SMCI, letting this trade work. Over 50, I can visualize a move to mid-50s. If this thing can pick up a little steam, maybe a little volume over 50, you'll see me dip my toes into some at-the-money option contracts, maybe potential out-of-the-money option contracts, anticipating a range on SMCI. Kind of what I mean by anticipating a range is when we get this fresh break, if we get this fresh break, of course tomorrow it could easily deny 50 and hang out for a while. It wouldn't hurt my feelings if it did. But let's say it does break 50. Gosh dang, bro. I tell you, my gosh. We break 50. I see no resistance until 55. I like that range for, that's anticipated range in something like SMCI. that I could see us following through and filling. So my options, my contracts will be kind of bought into that break. Of course, I'm sitting on the swing right now with risk below, I'll raise the risk here now to that 46.19 in SMCI. Or below that, below 45, it's going to take a little while for this to shape back up. Looks good. Let the trade work. SLDP, let the trade work. We're up here at this 270. That ascending triangle just continues. Let's see it get some consolidation, get some pullback, and maybe get some up and down stair stepping between $2 and $2.50. Would be ideal. Would be potential A+ type setup in SLDP. RGTI, I'm all out of this one. Still looks, okay for a move higher. I just, I'm not, it's at this point I got what I wanted to out of this trade, and I'm ready to clear my head on it and move on to something else. FUTU, beautiful, huge move today in FUTU. Told you guys I wouldn't trade it because the options, the spreads were so wide. And now you see why. My goodness. Market makers were really protecting themselves here. You got that 12-point move today in FUTU. That's tremendous. Especially when you look at all the other Chinese stocks and aren't doing nothing right now. They're all just shit. Something like FUTU just puts in a new 52-week high. Just blows through that 130. Just a beautiful setup here. That consolidation and then boom, that go. A lot to learn from FUTU's setup. BLNK, nice start to the trade. Again, risk, reward clearly defined here. Risking that blue line, looking at the red line type of trade, Pretty clear from a risk to reward standpoint. AISP, it's looking like it's, giving us an opportunity to get in this thing. Red candles the last 2 days. The volume hasn't been tremendous, which is a good sign. Tells me that buyers have potential to step in here and really push this thing higher. So, albeit that we don't gap down tomorrow in a huge way, I'll probably find myself getting some footing in AISP with a risk around that $5 range, looking for stair-step action up to 625. That's what we like to see there. SOUN we're all out of, but a good trade altogether and a lot to learn from it. That's it, today, guys, for the charts. If you take nothing away from this, respect your risk. Always, when you get into a trade, we have to predefine our risk. And we have to be non-emotional about cutting our losses when we hit our risk. Because as soon as we start to think we know, assume we know, or, need to know what's going to happen, that's the moment when we'll start to fail and our results will not be as consistent. Always stay on your toes out there. As traders, we need to be adaptable. We got to be able to take what we've got and roll with it. And you guys are doing a great job of it. I'll be back tomorrow for another recap. But until then, everybody have a great night out there. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Peace.